Alrighty, we're back from that brief commercial break. If you're just now tuning in, you're here with the American Video Game League Smite Collegiate Spring League. That was game one that we just finished of Slinging Slashers versus Delta eSports. We're about to be going into game two. And game one was insane how close it was throughout the entire match.
Yeah, really great job from both teams. It really could have been anyone's game right up until the end there, almost 50 minutes in.
Yeah, the last few team fights were Delta was forced to go into the more defensive route where Hash was able to just burst through using all of their ults offensively, where Delta was more defensively forced, especially with the Osiris ults. Geb was doing a great job getting those 4 and 5 man cataclysms, and no skin off his back for that one. But there was just no follow up from the Janus, from the Alquang, two gods who could just burst anybody who has been CC'd for even half a second. So in this next coming fight, Delta really needs to look into a little bit more communication, a little bit more follow-up when it comes to their supports throwing out those big ults and those big CCs.
Yeah, one thing for me, as we see kind of like higher skilled players, they don't get deterred when they get to, 30, 40, even 20% health. They see their health as a resource. And I want to see Delta kind of seeing their health as a resource rather than something to be scared of. You know, Hash, they came in fast and hot with all their ults, and it's almost like they blew their load kind of too early in the fights. Whereas Delta still had all their ults, they still had all this potential to kind of hit them just as hard. If you get, it's not about how hard you get, it's about how hard you can get hit and like kind of get back up and keep pressing forward in these fights and not just get scared and shatter and scatter around.
Yeah, Delta's really in the mindset of what can we do versus what can our opponent do to us. In a lot of situations where Hash was throwing out their ultimates too early, they were thinking, "Oh man, what can we do? They just like jumped into us. What can we do? Oh, I guess we can get out." As opposed to, guys, they just threw all of their ultimates. We're all still alive at over half health. What can we do to stop them right now? So I think they really need to change around that mentality to where it's not what can we do, but what can our opponent do to us now that their ultimates are down? Are they gonna be able to re-engage on us if we're able to get out of it? And then after that, do we re-engage on them since we have 3 or 4 ultimates still up?
Yep. So before we get back into picks and bans here, though, we do have our giveaway. Whoever, why don't you go ahead and let us know who it is, J Mac?
Our giveaway winner is Red Panda 103. If you are in the chat, Red Panda, go ahead and let us know that you have won. Say something fun. I don't know. Say something silly. Sing a song for us in the chat if you really want to. Red Panda 103, our winner of 800 gems. And after this match, we will have one final giveaway, and we'll also have Player of the Week to go. But we still have to finish out this set of Hash versus Delta. So let's go ahead and kick off into the picks and bans of Game 2. And we are here into the picks and bans of Game 2 of Slinging Slashers versus Delta eSports. Ignore the names up there. They're actually on the opposite ends this time around. This time, Delta having the first pick, and we already see Amaterasu and Robin banned away for it. A little bit of chat on the bottom, just trying to help out some of the other players with their stuff. Ignore that down part at the bottom if you can even see it. Still waiting on a second ban coming out from Delta here.
Yeah, Delta, strangely enough, electing to go for that Amaterasu as opposed to the 1 and 2 Chiron Robin bans, and they have elected to not ban out the Soul, or Chiron, excuse me, as well as they do go for the Soul in that first phase.
And Alquang taken out by the Slinging Slashers. They're going to take that away from Delta. I guess maybe they thought it was a little bit too good, but because of that, Kepri is on the line for being picked up here by Delta Esports.
Yeah, this could have been a bit of a bait here. They wanted to ban away the Alquang to kind of bait them into the Kepri. Maybe they really want to get this Chiron pick, so they needed to make the Kepri pick a little bit more attractive. They could come back with a nice Chiron Athena pick.
Yeah, I think the Chiron Athena would be an amazing turnaround pickup for these two. While Kepri is great, Athena has amazing reinitiation with that taunt, especially if she goes into any kind of cooldown. It's going to allow her to come back into those fights and just do a ton. While Kepri is definitely no god to laugh at, I do agree with you. I think this was a bait, getting rid of the Ao Kuang, saying, hey, I know they're going to pick Khepri, so here's our way of countering against this Khepri.
Yep, seeing these first two picks coming out here will spell the story for the Slashers, as it will kind of shape their team fight, hovering on the Janus and the Chiron, likely to be picked up here, I would say, even though they did do good work with Agni last game.
They did do amazing work, but I think that they want to take away the Janus from Coco's Guns. Coco was playing an amazing Janus last game, hitting tons of hitting the Spirit Gun way too often, doing immense amounts of player damage in that. So I imagine they're just trying to take it away, maybe put him in something a little less comfortable, or maybe a little bit of a weaker pick compared to the Janus. But the Chiron, a nice pickup. Neath being hovered, definitely a great counter matchup to the Chiron. Just in terms of wave clear and being able to root characters in place, especially if you catch that Chiron during his dash, it'll actually just root him there while he sits and stares at you like, hey, come on, man, I'm just trying to run.
Yep, Fenrir also going to be hovering on here. We saw this pick did a lot of work in Series 1. This could be scary if they're any good with it.
Yeah, Neath it has been locked in with that Fenrir. It looks like they're going into the Geb, so this time the supports have just swapped which god they're playing.
Yep, so we see Geb hovered here on the side of Slashers, headed right before. They don't want to get this banned out. I don't know, actually, if I like this. I'd have placed Geb and Athena about similar priority, neither of which having been banned out. They're not really forced to pick it going into this ban phase. So maybe they just prefer it.
I don't know. I guess it just comes down to the player comfort. Geb has a little bit more CC in his kit than the Athena, so maybe they're looking for that really hard peel coming out for the Chiron, who is already a fairly safe hunter, and Janus being the safest mid laner, probably even the safest god in the game. Just getting a little bit of extra peel never hurts for it, so definitely not opposed to the Geb. The Athena would have been a great pick as well, so looking at what needs to be banned, it looks like a mid laner and a solo laner, so probably a good mid ban to come out of here. Ice is going to come out for the ban against Delta eSports, a great counter ban. Ice is a very strong god.
Yep. As we see the ban phase head back over to Delta. Kronos is still on the board for this one. Agni is still on the board for this one, but that was Arc9 that did. It's all speculation at this point because we haven't seen these players play enough to kind of get a feel for how they like to pick.
Yeah, and Vamana being taken out, a very smart option by them with Hash having the first pick out of the ban phase. They were probably looking to pick up that Vamana once again. He did an amazing job in his zones, was keeping 2-3 players out of every single team fight, zoning at the Gold Furies, Fire Giants. So no surprise that Vamana is going to be taken away here. An immediate Poseidon ban. A very smart ban to come out against the Janus, in my opinion. With how many dashes and leaps that this team already has right now, the Poseidon ban is very smart.
Yeah, so we'll see what Delta elects to ban out. Likely to be...
I'd imagine a
probably
Thor.
a jungler.
I'd imagine a Thor or a Serket here. Maybe not Serket. She seems to have slightly fallen out of favor, I feel. Ever since the cooldowns increased on her movement abilities and her base movement speed drop, and with the nerf to blink. But no, it's gonna be the Hunbats. Like I was saying, Serket seems to have fallen out of favor a little bit this season, and a Wheeless immediately picked up out of the ban phase.
Yeah, gonna be a really great pickup here with that Geb.
Yeah, definitely with the Geb. One of the better Guardians to help her out. The only one being better would probably be Xing Chen, having 2 forms of knockup for her. So going to be looking to see a lot of big wombo combos with them. Geb knockup into the Wheelish pole is definitely a very easy way to burn those purification beads.
Yeah, Willish also a very good jungle map against the Fenrir, able to feather step him out of his brutalize. Kind of can almost peel for her teammates in that right.
Yeah, it looks like Sobek's being hovered here. Since Khepri's already picked, this is likely going to be going to the solo lane. And Scylla also being hovered on. Once again, we see Scylla being picked into these high clear mages with a low clear herself. They're going to both be locked in. And as I was saying earlier, the Xing Chen's being picked up. A great matchup with the Awilix.
Yes, we are going to see the double Guardians come out here for both teams. Interesting. We don't see... I honestly would give this matchup probably to Xing Chen once he hits his stride, kind of around level 7 when he gets his Indomitable Shout ranked up a couple points here.
Yeah, once he gets that shout up there, the Furious Roar, I think is as it's called. Once Xing Chen gets up there, he's just going to be clearing that wave against Sobek, no problem. Besides that, just coming down to the picks that we have right now, both of these teams are definitely looking to go to the later game. some of the mid game picks in there, but for the most part, this is gonna have to go to a late game if just based off what gods are being played at the moment. Chiron, very strong hyper carry when it comes to the end game. Janus, as we saw last game, just tons of damage on that mage. Xing Chen, when he gets to the late game, is nigh unkillable. Geb just being the most obnoxious of the Guardians next to Khepri. And a Wheelish, more of a mid-game pick, but it's going to really help her transition into the late game. Might see her go a little bit tankier as opposed to it, so maybe try and get that triple front line for the two hyper carries in the back. On the other side, Scylla is definitely a god who's going to be going into the late game. Fenrir really going to try and help her through that, as well as Khepri and Sobek to protect her. So the strategy coming out right now is probably going to be the 3 protect 1, I'd imagine. Both the junglers, I'd imagine, aren't going to go like hyper burst. They're probably going to go a little bit more defensive, try and help out these junglers and these ADCs.
Yeah, Delta eSports though just has so much peel with that Khepri and that Sobek. I don't know how slashers are gonna be able to get on to anyone.
Yeah, and both of them having that pull, which isn't affected by the CC reduction either. So two very strong picks in that aspect. They're not going to really be able to build into the CCR between them. And knockups you can't CC anyways. So Sobek, I feel Sobek, while he's going to be weaker than Xing Chen, I feel is a very strong pickup to help in these team fights. That big ultimate lurking in the waters, able to zone for him. So he's going to be able to have a lot of peel alongside that Khepri to keep people off of their Scylla and off of their Neath even. And Fenrir getting that Ragnarok and Brutalize is going to be able to help out a lot as well.
Where's the Anubis at, man? You know?
Man,
you hear me?
Don't go on that, man. Like, I want to see Anubis as bad as the next person, but I don't know. I don't know how well, I don't know how well he fares right now, as opposed to all the other like top tier mages.
What if he builds full CCR reduction? What
Oh
happens
my,
then? Because he's already got 30% on his passive, so he only needs an item or two to get close.
yeah.
He's essentially tier at that point, you know?
Basically. I mean, with how much mobility both of these teams have built, everybody, I believe everybody has some form of leap or dash on their end. So Anubis would just be a sitting duck compared to these gods, especially Fenrir. Fenrir is not one that Anubis wants to go against.
Yeah, so just looking at the both team comps here, who are you giving this one to?
The team that I'm gonna give this one, I kind of want to give it to Delta in this case. I think Delta has a very strong team, and if it's gonna really come down to can Scylla hit these Ima monsters? That was kind of the story of the last one: is can Scylla hit these Ima monsters in these games to help swing these team fights?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. The Khepri ult is definitely gonna carry a lot more weight in this game for sure with the Yao Kuang off the board.
Yeah, Ao Kuang being down, no executes, so Khepri's going to be a lot stronger in this game. Ao Kuang was able to burst through, I think, 2 or 3 of those Khepri ults last game. So now with Ao off the board, Khepri's going to be that much stronger as we get ready to head into this game here. This is Game 2, Delta Esports versus Slinging Slashers. Slinging up 1-0 on Delta Esports right now.
Yeah, if you are just joining us, Delta Esports going to be fighting out of the blue order side, bottom side of the minimap. Left side of your spectator UI, Ajax 16 on that Fenrir, going to be taking that into the jungle. That will be smitten on Sobek in the solo lane. Andy Vond and Yurik 25 going to be in their dual lane as Neath and Khepri. And finally, we got the boy Coco Scones on his Diamond Scylla looking so flossy in the mid lane.
Ooh, that Diamond Scylla looking really nice. On the right side of your Spectator UI, top side of your minimap, on the Chaos team is going to be the Slinging Slashers. It's going to be Brick Killer, this time on the Xing Chen in the solo lane. Lord of Evil playing that Wheelish in the jungle. Arc 9 going to be on the Janus this time. Tree Fitty picking up his Chiron and being coupled with the Geb, piloted by Behemoth in the duo lane. So it looks like teams are just going out and getting their wards. Both supports picking up that scout active once again. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this one. Sure, the early sentry wards are nice, but I just don't feel that the scout active is that warranted going into the later part of the game, whereas something like an extra shell, an extra weakening would be a little bit more favorable.
Yeah, especially on Khepri's going to be looking to take his team to the late game here as they do scale so well. It's kind of hard to forego one of those big team fight relics, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the scout. While it's a nice active, if you utilize it 100%, like using it on cooldown, maybe it can be worth it.
Then maybe,
But
yeah.
but you're still giving up that big active, and it looks like Hash is once again going to start with the mid camps and then going into the blue. Neath, actually just leashing that back camp slightly.
Yeah, you know, going back to the scout, it's been like you said in season 1. It's been in the game already. As Neath leashes that back camp again, it's been in the game already. It's fallen out of favor. It's like it's so weird how players in the meta is so fickle. Like to be able to just go back to something that's already been proven to not be that good.
Yeah, and the reason that they took it out was just because it really just wasn't doing anything for. It really just wasn't doing anything. It was just a sought after. It was once the ward cost came into the game. And once the ward cost dropped, it just became an irrelevant active basically.
Yep, nice little Sick'em Crush here. Going to be able to poke out Janus to about half health. These mid camps are going to go over to the slashers very cleanly, as like we were talking about. Lane pressure is going to go to Janus, especially early on. Scylla has picked up a purple pot to try and help her kind of carry through the early game where her clear is so weak.
Yeah, I think Scylla picking up that purple pot is definitely it's a risk, but a very rewarding thing. She has to get it in order to go against these these high clear mages, in order for her to do really anything against them.
Yeah, both solo laners have picked up the teleport relic, looking to make bigger rotations into this fight. This is going to be especially important for that Sobek, who he's not on the same team as the Janus, so any rotations need to be made, like any kind of surmountable distance. He's going to be heavily relying on that teleport, as we saw Brick Killer use it very efficiently last game, able to teleport into a very clutch fire giant fight.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a very powerful active to have, even though it got slightly nerfed from the season 2 version of it. It's still very powerful. Basically, at level 1, you get a free teleport to a ward or a tower, so it can allow. I'm surprised we haven't really seen any teams, whether it be SPL, Challenger Cup, whatever it be. I'm surprised we haven't really seen any level 1 kind of crazy ganks coming out of the teleports.
Yeah, a lot of that is going to depend on the ward coverage from the teams, and especially at this level, we're not seeing. This is the funniest little slap fight ever right here.
I just love watching Guardians slap each other around because they just don't do anything to each other.
It's almost just like they're high-fiving at that point.
Yeah, it's like, hey, my axe is bigger. No, my axe is bigger.
Yeah. I like seeing the skins here. It's kind of lame in the SPL. We can't use the skins, but I definitely love that Kaiju voice pack with the scared news crew.
Yeah, it's definitely the most inventive voice pack that they've done so far. It's a little bit of a fun one. Of course, the original one wasn't too good, but ever since they updated, it's been pretty nice.
Yeah, big 3v4 grouping coming out here from both teams. A nice Space and Time is going to hit 3 members, as followed up by a nice Cataclysm. Fenrir able to leap over this one. He has gotten very low. Not likely to fall in this fight just yet. Nice Chiron's going to look for him through the wall. 1 shot, 2 shot. Is going to be able to juke out all 3 shots from that, but he is still chasing this into the tier 1. Not going to be enough. 2 kills, though, have gone down. First blood, I believe, going to Scylla, who picked off the Awilish before Janus was on a return kill on Jeffrey.
Janus comes back around.
Oh!
Wow. Janus,
great
please.
Great return kill from great presence of mind there from Arc9. Like we talked about, not realizing you're out of the fight. You know, it's not all things are said and done yet. You can always find a lazy backer.
Yeah, and finding the lazy backs are always the most satisfying for you because it's like, oh, they're not paying attention. Here we go. Hi guys.
Yeah, it's free. He just had the store up. He didn't even realize what had happened.
Yeah, that's another thing is so many players, they're like, all right, I got to figure out my next item that I'm going to get. So they just open the store, and as soon as they hit the store, they're ready to go. But you got to be careful on those lazy backs, especially in the early games. These abilities still do quite a bit, and you don't really have that much health.
Yep, so all things told, about a 700 gold here for the slashers. Coming out of that fight, they are able to pick up the left side mid camps. Geb is still rotating to these right side, likely to get those, as well as Willish is coming in here. But we do have a rotation out of the solo lane to pick up this blue. Is he going to come over to help with these mid camps? No, he is not. Fenrir Ragnarok going to be popped here. Is going to grab up that Willis, who is promptly Geb shielded. That's a big counter we didn't really talk about coming into picks and bans.
Yeah, the Geb into the Fenrir is definitely a hard counter. Being able to just throw out the shield, so once they get picked up, they just kind of walk out of it for no big deal. Sure, they take the damage from it, but it's just an ult that doesn't have to be wasted by purification.
I see a nice little Sikkim Crush here found onto Geb and a Willish. Fenrir is actually going to miss that Brutalize. I'm a Monster going to come out over the wall. It's just going to be not enough to pick up that Geb. Xingchen has rotated into that fight. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel is going to find the Scylla. Almost throws her into the Spirit Gun. Gets a nice pull into a Willish. Sikkim Crush is going to come out. Not enough to save her life. A Willish is going to find that kill with a nice Feather Step. A nice Geb Shield is going to save her. Fenrir is going to Brutalize. But alas, the Cataclysm is going to come out. Hit 2, followed up by a Neath Ultimate. This is going to spell the end of Geb. Kaiju Sobek has released the lurking in the waters, we'll find him.
The Kaiju is in middle lane, and the Kaiju has destructively destroyed this Geb.
Yeah. Oh god, he's back.
Yeah, don't let the Kaiju loose because he will come, he will haunt you, and he will lurk in your waters. But in that fight, the Geb tried to use the Cataclysm to avoid the CC from the Neath, but he was just like maybe barely like but he was just, I don't know, barely like a quarter of a second, if even that, behind or ahead of the Neath ultimate.
Yep, gonna find a nice little portal followed by Unstable Vortex. Is this gonna be enough actually to find Khepri here? He has ulted himself, but he walked over the threshold. There's no way out of this. Another Unstable Vortex is gonna clean up that kill. Arc 9 on a killing spree.
Yeah, very clean kill. Arc with 3 early kills, getting that Doom Orb stacked up ever so quickly because of that.
Yep. These pigs are going to go over to the Slashers. They might look for the Gold Fury here as they have picked off Khepri, who is just respawning. But no, Geb's going to roll out. Maybe look for this Fenrir. Going to find a knock-up on it. No further aggression here.
Yeah. The Still I'm a Monster earlier was just so close. You always hate seeing that. It's like, I'm going to get them, and they live with maybe 10 HP, and you're like, that was that close to a reset.
Yeah, that could have been very different for them. Scylla electing to go boots first. Janus has gone for that Doom Orb, and it is working out very well. He is flourishing with that killing spree, finding already about 29 stacks on his Doom Orb.
Yeah, and that's just the power of the Doom Orb. I mean, you get that early, he's already got almost a 60 power lead over the Scylla with just that item with the stacks on it alone already. And once again, we just go to the slap fight of the solo lane. That is the solo lane Guardians. It's always funny how it's only Guardians who are able to do this slap fight. Every other class in this game, if they start slapping, somebody's dying. Guardians start slapping, there's like, you know, whatever. We'll just keep hitting for a bit.
Gold Fury actually doing a lot of damage out of the list. Ragnarok is going to be popped, I guess, defensively for Ajax 16. He's getting all the way out of this fight. We have a 4-man grouping now on the side of the Slashers. Are they going to look at this Gold Fury? No, they are just going to head up to the mid camps as they respawn. Janus going to clear up the wave. This is they have really great mid camp control. The Slashers have this game.
Yeah, Slashers have been doing a great job this game and even last game on that mid camp control. Whether or not they could take it, they've been getting the timers on them almost every single time. I'm not quite sure why the Ragnarok was forced. Maybe he didn't know what all was lying in wait for him. A little bit of a waste of an ultimate just to cleanse the slow from the Chiron. So I'm not quite sure why he went into that, but nevertheless, he was able to get out of there safely and disengage the team fight.
Yeah, Delta doesn't really have a lot of ward coverage over in that area, so he felt, I guess he should have been more safe than sorry in that situation.
Yeah. Taking a look at the grass.
Oh my god, Unstable Vortex taking about half of Fenrir's health. A nice Feather Step is going to cripple Fenrir out of that Brutalize. He is definitely scaling that up. The Leap did not do very much damage at all, but Xingchen is able to rotate in the backside of this fight. Brutalize is off cooldown. The Leap has come off cooldown. The Whirlwind Rage and Steel is only going to find that Sobek, who is not likely to go down as he still has his ult to be used defensively if need be.
Yeah, perfect timing on the Fenrir by getting out of that Whirlwind of Rage. He was just able to get that jump off before he got picked up by it. And without having that ult, he actually missed out on getting that Wheelix kill. She was able to just jump over the wall. And as you mentioned earlier, with the counter to Fenrir again, they have picked 2 gods to counter this Fenrir, the Wheelix and the Geb. As you saw, Wheelix just feather stepping right over that Brutalize.
Yeah, very good there. Willis trying to grab the dash on Scylla, just a little bit off. I don't know if it was out of range. May have been just off timing there, so she is going to be able to find her way home safe and sound. But Willis just taking a couple pop shots from the tower there.
It actually looks like Scylla may... She really does. It looks like Scylla may have actually popped her...
Baited.
but she just got
Absolutely
baited
perfectly
harder
played by
than
the Scylla there.
I have never seen such a hard bait.
Masturbate, you might say.
Of master bait that I would rate 8 of 8.
8 out of 8, mate. Yeah, Scylla
But
just playing that perfectly, just baiting him in. She actually, Janice went home, and she still dove after that. That was just a bit of a misplay there coming out from Lord of Evil, who has now fallen behind. He's going to be falling behind here. They're still level 8s. The jungler's kind of struggling to find XP here.
Yeah, but Lord of Evil actually does still have a very slight gold lead over the Fenrir at the moment, and it's already back up to go back into farm into that jungle. But earlier, whenever the Willis was trying to ult the Scylla, I think that Scylla popped her purification beads as she was doing the teleport to ensure that she could get out safely, because it looked like that they were just on cooldown.
Yeah, Geb actually able to take a slight XP lead over his Awilish.
Very interesting. Not often that you see the supports getting the level up on their junglers. Both junglers struggling a little bit in their farm. Not too much. Gold Fury pulled likely just to get that ward. Fenrir meeting 4 people here. Fenrir not
They're
in the best
definitely going to
position.
look to collapse on this Fenrir. He did use his beads a little late after being knocked up. I don't know why he was auto-attacking the Gold Fury. Maybe looking to clear up a ward there. As Neath is forced to backflip. Geb is coming out. He knows her backflip is down. Oh, he just barely misses the knock up as he is able to knock her up though.
Teleport coming a lot of damage from
the portal is going to be enough though as Chiron goes into his ult. He is going to go into ult. Willish though picked off clean. A nice 1 for 2 though in favor of the slashers.
Yeah, definitely great. Sobek coming through on that teleport, but Xingqian also teleporting to the ward that was likely by that Gold Fury right there. I think that was the ward that they were trying to clear out earlier. The Sobek ult, or the Sobek pluck, unfortunately not hitting the target that was being targeted by the tower if Geb didn't have the priority on him, so he was just kind of getting rid of Geb. Scylla's ult being forced here, and looks like she's really not going to be able to do too much here. Xingqian just diving the tower. Brick is just being the front line that you want every solo laner to be. He was in their face, forcing ultimates, forcing actives just to get these people off of him.
On the backside, though, Ragnarok is used, followed by a Neath ultimate to clean up that Geb, who was a little bit caught out away from his team. Through space and time was used to try and bail him out, but he was not able to make his way to one of those portals. So this could be another opening for Delta to take the first Gold Fury of the game.
Yeah, 4-man split on the mid camp by the Hassling Slashers as the Hunter rotated his way over there to pick those up, while Neath is getting the free farm over in her lane.
Yeah, Delta going to need to ward up the Gold Fury here if they want to make a play on it. They have really not making great use of this scout as we see Khepri just go out to drop it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think Khepri's now heading over there to get that scout. A slight level advantage going the way. Khepri ult forced. Nobody's popping it. Nobody's going to let it go down. Root going to come out, and that's going to stop that. Maybe.
Maybe. Does she have her Panther charge? No, a nice unstable Vortex over the wall, though, is going to be able to find that kill. Great presence of mind there from Arc going into the blue buff camp to chase that kill down. Gravity Surge is going to be able to find a huge unstable Vortex damage. Going to find him a double kill before they're going to be able to find a clean kill and get out of this one.
A great Sikkim by Scylla to disengage and keep that Chiron from charging in. It looked like that was what he was wanting to do at that moment. She was just in range to be able to do so. Great Sikkim to stop that entire engagement, but Gold Fury is being targeted at the moment by Slinging Slashers. Looks like they might have...
They're blowing it up. Janice is absolutely chunking right now.
Yeah, that
Monster, though, is popped over the backside. Is going to hit 2. Not enough damage. Slashers did get the Gold Fury. Nice Aegis coming up from... Chiron able to find Fenrir there.
Yeah, Chiron getting that one nice little snipe there onto the Fenrir. Scylla's ult was just a little bit late to get that, and it looks like Purification's going to be popped to negate the Xingqian ult. Sobek going to use his tail whip just to make sure that they don't go. Pluck, for some reason, misses. Neath ult blocked by Lord of Evil for some reason instead of just the Geb taking it. A little interesting on that, but no big deal.
Yep, so all things told, after that Gold Fury being taken, about a 2,500 gold lead here, 13.5 minutes in favor of your Slinging Slashers.
Yeah, Slinging is doing a good job keeping a very small gold lead. It's just like how it was last game, where it's a very small gold lead. But hopefully, unlike last game, maybe Hash can pull something out of this to get it a little bit bigger. I don't think we saw anything maybe than 4,000 or 5,000 gold in the last, if we even got that high.
Yeah, both teams doing a great job actually splitting camps to everyone. They don't want any farm to go to waste here.
Yeah, Fenrir is definitely making great use of that Boma's Mask. Scylla has her Doom Orb online. It's got about 29 stacks maybe on it.
Capriol is going to get him out of that one. Fenrir looking to brutalize onto a Willish. Cancels it after 2 pounces. As the Willish is able to actually grab Fenrir out of Brutalize, if I'm not mistaken, with a Gravity Storm. It has to be perfectly timed, though. We do see through space and time being used, trying to pick off that Scylla in the backline, though. It is a little too late, though, as she has already gone back to the fountain.
Yeah, a great attempt on it, but it's definitely not going to be any snipe that we saw in some of the earlier sets with those Jannas.
He ain't no Coco Scones.
No, this is not Kogo. This is Arc, but Purification pop forces the Ragnarok, and he actually turns around with the Unstable to get a kill on him. Great turnaround by Arc.
That is like the hugest power spike right now, I feel like, in Smite. Unstable Vortex, as Janus almost gets picked off by a nice second crunch. Iron Monster going to be used. Neath ult likely to be enough. No, it doesn't look like he's fully charged. He is going to be able to escape with his life. Whirlwind of Rage and Seal finds 2. Chiron ult going to be picking off Kepri. Scylla likely to go down here as well, but not before finding a nice return kill onto a Willish. Tree Fitty just able to barely escape with his life. And Brick Killer going to swag flip on out of this one.
Yeah, just was able to get out of the tower as he got plucked back in by the Sobek. Sobek actually might be able to pick this up. Brick is very low and gets another pluck on it. Need just misses the Spirit Arrow. And because of that, it looks like Brick Killer might be able to make it. Yeah, he's just going to double jump away. No big deal.
Yeah, that one's on you, Neath.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity by the Neath. Missed that Spirit Arrow there when I was able to allow Brick Killer to get out. Ajax just rocking into level 10 on that Fenrir, while Lord Evil sits on level 11 on the Wheelish there. Quite a bit of an experience difference this game as opposed to last game, where it was fairly even. The jungle and the mid laners are starting to pull ahead of their opponents.
Janus is absolutely swinging right now, hitting like a freaking truck with his pen boots, his Doom Orb fully stacked, likely to get that Spear of the Magus online soon. It has been finished, completed, in fact.
And it looks like the Breastplate of Valor is going to be coming out of the Wheelish as well to try and stop some of that physical damage coming from the Fenrir and the Neath. Cooldown definitely a fun option with a Wheelish. Gives her a lot more feather steps, allows her to throw out more of those the Astral Tigers or whatever Suku is. Not a tiger, but
a panther.
Panther, that's what it is. I couldn't think of the cat there for it. I wanted to think of Puma, but I don't know. I don't know why I thought tiger, but
what's the difference between a Puma and a panther?
I was about to say, the difference between, let me tell you a little bit about that. Oh, speaking of which, great ult by the Wheelish, but immediately purified by the Fenrir, and he's just going to Ragnarok out. Kepri ult also forced as well. So that's a 2-for-1. Actually make that 3 as Scylla pops her ult.
Yep, a nice crush, going to take about 25% of Tree Fitty's house, but he is going to be able to find that tier 1. As we see a little bit of a slap fight going on here in the solo lane. Nothing really much to report on there.
Really nothing. Both of them have a lot of health on them at the moment. Xingchen having slightly more with that Wingblade. Wingblade being picked up a little bit more by the Hashling Slash as opposed to any other team that I've really seen so far. But in all right, Sobek has a slow on his ult. Nothing really from the Fenrir. The Crush applies the slow. The backflip from Neath really, and then nothing much from the Kepri. So interesting why the Wingblade, maybe just the 300 health from him, maybe the CCR coming out of it. It no longer gives the cooldown reduction, it's now CC reduction. So interesting pickup of the Wingblade this time around. Last game it was almost a staple item for anybody who was going tanky.
Yeah, maybe he's just feeling like he doesn't want to be slowed down too much by the weakening curse coming out of Sobek.
Yeah, and picks up the Stone of Gaia as well, giving him even more HP 5 as Fenrir jumps into 2, but it's just immediately deterred by that knockup and Neath being there, and just having Geb. You really can't do anything to Geb. You have to get Geb or get out.
Yeah, just a little bit of fun poke coming out. Not likely to result in a kill or anything. Both teams, Kepri's trying to get a little bit of war control going around the Gold Fury here, as we see a nice 3-man split coming out of Slashers on that left mid camp, right soon to follow.
Yeah, Kepri's standing on a sentry ward, so they know that he's there. His scout is still on cooldown at the moment. Gebs is back up. We're really not seeing these scouts utilized super effectively, so I'm not quite sure how worth both of these pickups are for them. I really, we've been talking about this whole time, really want to see something a little bit more come out.
Yep, no ultimates blown yet in this fight. Brick Killer has kind of chased Scylla out of this one into the safety of her Sobek, likely to spell the end of that aggression. Sobek coming in and drop a little bit of cooldowns. Rollout pop, gonna be a little slow. Sobek still fine at this moment. Pops the weakening though, looking like they want to commit to this one. A nice crush coming out, gonna find Geb. Xingchen is gonna be picked up into that Ragnarok. I hear through space and time, ripping through, hitting 4, but not doing quite enough damage as it needs to. I'm a Monster is popped. Yanis is able to escape through his own portal, but just before being hit.
Yeah, the Yami monster not hitting anybody as he was able to get out of that portal. So that's an ultimate that just goes to basically just goes to waste there. Unstable Vortex chunking both of them. Only got hit by one portion of it, and it's still doing a ton of damage.
Yep, Tree Fitty able to find a tier 1 tower in the dual lane. That was a beautiful through space and time. He was able to get in, poke out a little bit, but also at the same time saving his Jing Chen. As Tree Fitty looking to go in on this Neath, he has popped his charge. A heavenly popped in response. Centaurus is going to miss all 3 shots. He's taking huge damage, but is going to find the kill with his one before heading back to base. One more tower shot would have done it. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, unfortunately, not going to connect for Brick Killer.
Yeah, Sobek dashing out of there just in the nick of time to be able to avoid that ultimate. So that one goes to waste as well. Great play by the Chiron over in the tower. Knows that he has the level advantage, therefore he's just going to have more base damage. Also having that Ickfall, he's going to be able to steal some of that damage away. A Wheelish jumping over the wall. They're getting plucked, but also being rooted at the same time by Kepri. It's always an interesting little interaction is if you double CC somebody on like the pulls or knockups like that, they just kind of stay in place. Looks like a Wheelish is going to get out, Geb shields himself instead of the Awilix, but Awilix gets out safely.
Yeah, Sobek popping that ultimate a little bit too early. It's more of a, it's not really a linear curve as far as how the damage scales up on like Ymir ult and Sobek ult when they pop it early. I want to say it's more of like a, about to whip out some, a little more of a quadratic curve, you know?
A little bit more.
A little parabolic curve to it. Because it feels like that, he got a little scared of the Awilish damage almost. It was like he didn't want to die, so he popped it early, but as a result, missed the kill.
Yeah, I guess he thought with how much damage he did, even with the damage mitigation you get from that ultimate, I guess he felt maybe he needed to pop that early. Maybe he thought that he had enough damage on it, but I don't think he took into account just the difference in, not really even the difference in levels. He is 5 levels above the Wheelish. I think that's maybe why he thought that he could do it, because he had such a high level advantage that it was going to do enough damage, but just missing out on a Wheelish able to get out by the skin of her teeth.
Yep, Gold Fury going to be started up here by the Slashers as Delta has no wards on this. This might go over to the boys for free.
Yeah,
yep, they're going to take that completely uncontested now, spooling their gold lead up to about 5,500.
And a 7,400 experience lead. A lot of that comes from the jungler and a little bit from the hunter as well. Jungler, hunter, and mid laner are where the main level differential is, whereas Andy Vonde actually has a level lead on the Geb, and the Sobek just drawing even with the Xingqian.
Yeah, oddly enough, we've seen the mid and the duo tier 1s go down before the solo. The solo usually the first of the towers to fall.
Well, speaking of, it looks like Xingqian, it looks like Brick is ready to take it down, and he does. So that is all the tier 1 towers down. So that is 1,500 gold worth of towers off of the map right now.
Yeah, Brickkiller is not scared at all of this Fenrir. He is sitting comfortably 6 levels above him, level 18 to level 12. Fenrir just forced out of this fight yet again. Through space and time, just going to be slightly off the mark. As Xingqian is just continuing to bully this lane.
And Arcanine is doing
Surge going to come out onto Kepri, though, pulling him. Nice portal, though, going to zone out any aggression. Nice threshold is going to slow him out. Does Kepri have the ultimate available? Not going to be able to get it off in time. And a Neath ult in return is not going to be enough to deter. Nice Sikkim Crush into 2. The Aegis is going to, not the Aegis, the Cataclysm is going to come out onto Sobek. I'm a Monster is out. Hits the Janus, gets the reset. Is it going to be enough? She ults herself at the feet to get a Willish offer. Is going to find that double kill on a Willish Geb. Just able to be spared for now.
Yeah, Brick Killer out of mana here, but he's just going to teleport out. And looks like
Tree Fitty's going in.
He's getting a little bit baited here, forcing out his ultimate. Yeah, he's just going to get destroyed by that. A little too aggressive. Maybe feeling himself a little bit on that one, being 4-0 at the moment, but is he going to get punished for his aggression?
Yeah, even if he does find that kill, he's not getting out of that.
Yeah, that would have been.
I don't know if I'm with that play.
Yeah, it would have been a 1-for-1 if anything, but instead it turns out to be a 0-3 in favor of Delta eSports on that one.
Scylla, though, in that fight, coming up huge with the double I'm a Monster hits. Able to get herself a double, basically on her own.
Yeah,
I'm set required.
Yeah,
no assembly required.
No, no assembly required at all. Yeah, batteries included as well. That's always nice when they include the batteries in there. But I'm surprised that the Awilix didn't actually feather step the ultimate. It maybe have been on cooldown for that one, but yeah, Scylla able to find that second hit of I'm a Monster. Even though it didn't kill, it would definitely put Awilix in critical condition and basically made it to where Awilix either had to get out or she was dead. And I'm pretty sure the Suku was down. Yeah, she did die, so Suku was probably down, so she couldn't get out anyways. So great play coming out of Coco Scones, showing that he has a very strong god pool, not only with the Janus but with the Scylla as well. Scylla, one of the harder mages to play, especially with how weak her early is and how quote unquote difficult it is to hit her ult without any kind of setups. And she just hit 2 raw ultimates there.
Yeah. She is sitting 7-3, really starting to hit her stride here as she is coming up on level 20, likely to hit that in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, and also about to get that Obsidian Shard online, giving her the extra 70 power total, with also a nice amount of pen. Surprisingly not going into Spear of Desolation. I would have imagined that would have been a real nice pickup for her as soon as she comes out from the Sick'em Crush I'm a Monster. If the I'm a Monster doesn't reset, she basically just gets another round of Sick'em Crush with any kind of kill. So surprisingly I didn't go into that. Maybe just wanted that early damage a lot quicker.
It could happen. Slashers rolling out as 5 into the dual lane, looking like they may have wanted to save that tower, but it's likely to go down to creeps here. As we see a large grouping coming out, maybe looking to siege down this tier 2.
Looks like it. Brickkiller in the jungle, just staring down 3 members while Janice takes the pigs there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why the Unstable Vortex came out. I get, as you were saying, probably to save that tier 1 tower, but at this point, it's really not worth saving. Even though that ultimate is on a fairly low cooldown, but it's actually interesting. So Janice has a couple of ways of that people build. In season 2, it was either the full CDR or the full damage. People would build that full CDR so you get more utility, more portals, more thresholds, and Unstable Vortex still just chunked like no one's business back then. Or you could go into the full damage, and it's the same situation here where last game, Delta built their Janus with Coco was going more of the CDR build, not full CDR because of how they've changed the numbers on that one, but it had a nice 30%, whereas in this game, Ark is just going for the straight power build on this Janus.
Yeah, it's paying dividends for him, I would say, sitting comfortably 7-2. First level 20 on his team, I would imagine, followed up closely by that Jink Gen. Whereas Delta Esports just has the Sobek online at level 20.
Yeah, but still sitting at 19, probably pretty close there. Just another minion wave or two. Maybe a couple camps will get her there. Gold difference right now sitting about 5,000 in favor of Hash and 6,700 experience. Pretty close game still. As we mentioned, really the farthest any game has been about maybe 5 to 6,000 gold. This is the farthest. This is the biggest lead that we have seen so far, outside of when it came down to the end, 10,000 K or something like that from Hash. But that was after Fire Giants and all the towers got taken down.
Yep, Gold Fairy looking like it might have been started up here by the Slinging Slabs. Delta actually able to steal that one away as Ragnarok is popped in the mid lane. Tree Fitty able to find a nice kill onto Yurk. He is very deep though. Pop Centaurus. It is going to be not quite enough as Kepriot is popped in combination with I'm a Monster. Let's see if she elects to fire this one off. She does. It is going to hit Geb, it looks like, but it's not going to be even close to enough damage as she tosses out yet another Sick'em Crush with not enough. Tree Fitty, just one auto attack. Is the 2 going to be up? No, a nice Aegis is going to absorb Unstable Vortex and the 2 from Tree Fitty, who finds a nice return kill onto Kepri. Unfortunately, wasn't able to find his own way out of that fight.
Yeah, that was a perfect Sanctuary by Coco there. Was able to avoid Master's Will and avoid the Unstable Vortex, which I feel that he may have rushed that ability a little bit, just trying to get that quick burst off instead of waiting for the Aegis to come out. He may not have seen it, which is why he tried to pop, which is why he just tried to burst really quickly. So very heads up play by Coco there.
Yeah, beautiful Sanctuary. We're gonna save his life for now as the Slashers do take his red buff, unfortunately, on their way out of the jungle though. That Gold Fury Seal it's definitely gonna keep them in the game here going into the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, and Tree Fitty heading over to the solo lane just to split push a little bit. Probably not going to get a tower, maybe just looking to get some free gold over there while the minions were pretty far up, pretty even into the lane.
Yeah, crazy attack speed coming out here from Tree Fitty.
Yeah, it looks like he's going...
the same little build it looks like here. Going to finish it up with the Titan's Bane.
Yeah, and once again going with that Iqval. What we saw last game was actually he sold the Iqval and went into Deathbringer and then sold his Transcendence for Malice. So we may see the same thing this game. Not 100% sure. I guess it just depends on when it comes to. But likely we will see that Iqval sold, whether it's picked up for Deathbringer or Malice or for another attack speed based item, maybe an Executioner or something like that. Charge bow, who knows? It all just comes down to what he wants to do with that.
Yep, both teams just clearing up the lanes right now as we hit a little bit of lull in the action. Both teams farming up, looking to really hit their stride headed into the late game. No one wants to be the first one to slip up when these team fights really do start to matter, spelling major map objectives or more towers.
Yeah, Wheelish with a nice little level advantage over the Fenrir here, a 3 level difference. I think that's an extra access point into the ultimate that a Wheelish has over the Fenrir. While Ragnarok really isn't so big for the damage, it's still 3 levels of just base damage that he's missing out on.
Yeah, Ragnarok's damage was it was buffed not too long ago.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but you don't really so much use it for the damage as it is just to grab somebody and pull them in. And
Right.
against Geb and a Wheelish, it's really hard for Fenrir to do much of anything.
Huge Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, though. Going to grab 2, sending them straight into the through space and time. Kepri going to be able to bail out Neath out of this one. Fenrir doesn't look like he'll be as lucky. He is bailed out for the time being. Is Chiron's 2 going to be enough to finish him? No, he is going to escape with his life. Sobek lurking in the waters under this tier 1. Or tier, excuse me. Going to be able to force out both huge damage onto Jing Chen and a Willish as they are looking to finish off these kills. Everyone is getting so low on the side of Slashes. A Willish able to just get out. Bulwark Shield's going to be enough for now, unfortunately, as Sobek does take her out. Nice Kepri root. Flip back into his team. Ulrich's going to pick up that kill. Treefitty does find another return kill, as he often does. He is going to look to sprint out of this one. Brutalize. Going to keep him in the chase for now, but Fenrir is sitting 6 levels below this Chiron. I'm not sure he wants to keep this chase up.
No, that's not a fight that you want to take. Just surely based off 6 levels, that is a massive power spike just for that. Not only with the levels, but with the items as well. Chiron has a lot of pin built into his build right now. So Chiron's not one that you want to box when he hits level 20.
No, definitely not, especially sitting 6 levels below him.
Yeah.
Delta definitely going to be able to look to take this tier 1 mid. The first towers will fall for Delta eSports as they have taken the first mid tier 1 off the Slashers. 30 minutes in. First tower.
Yeah, 30 minutes in for Delta's first tower, although the one in the dual lane is pretty much sitting at next to nothing, so they're actually knocking the mid camps out of the crush there. Always hate when that happens. Yeah, and they're going to walk over and
that tower. He wants it down.
He says, come on, guys. That tower is just staring at me with its empty void. Please just let me take it down. Pops the Ragnarok. Probably. That was a little bit of a panic moment by him, I think. And he gets pulled
nice
right back in.
He's going to pull him right back from the Gold Fury. Panther Charge going to knock him up. They're looking to chase this one down. Bulwark has been popped. It is not going to be enough. Kepri ult, though, is going to save him. Huge distance on that. He's going to pull him all the way from just outside Gold Fury into the tier 2.
Very great play by the Kepri coming in there to save his Fenrir. He was going to be taken down by that one as you saw the ult getting popped off to revive him there. Fenrir a little bit out of position taking that tower. Almost lost his life for it, but thanks to Kepri was able to get that tower. Only expending a couple ultimates, but just a great heads up play by Kepri there.
Yeah, Kepri doing a lot more work this game with the Alquang taken off the board.
Yeah, with no Alquang, there's no one to just deny his ultimate entirely.
Unless Thanatos.
Yeah, I don't think Thanatos is gonna. I don't know. Thanatos isn't horrible. I would like to see Thanatos get all the death gods on the team.
Sobek looking a little caught out here. Is going to be able to use that charge prey to escape. Geb going to roll out. Is going to be rooted by the Kepri though until he gains that CC immunity.
It's always a little frustrating whenever you're dashing through and somebody just roots you. So you're still just sitting there rolling, or like it's Chiron. You're just like, am I on a treadmill? Hello? Am I at the gym now, guys? Cool, let's go. It's an interesting interaction with roots, because if you're dashing and you get rooted, you stop. But if you're rooted and then you dash, you just keep going. So it's always a fun little interesting interaction between that.
Yeah, both teams turning their sights to Fire Giant here. As we look, ward coverage is definitely in the favor of Slashers, and I feel like that's really spelled the story here. As we see, Geb's going to blink in, Cataclysm on 2. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel has yet to come out. That's another big ultimate to look at for this team fight. Lurking in the waters is going to connect, not doing much damage onto that Awilish. Sobek is finding himself very low as Ragnarok is popping in the back. He's looking for the Jing Chen, feeding it, just standing him still in the Neath. Spirit Gun's going to come out to bail out the Jing Chen for now. Ulrich getting very low. Is going to be crippled by the Chiron one and picked up by the swag flip of the Jing Chen. Meanwhile, on the backside of this fight, Treefitty is going to find yet another kill onto that Sobek. I'm a Monster is going to hit Treefitty, hitting huge damage. Crush is going to take him out. Just barely surviving is that Jing Chen. He is looking to get out of this fight. Unstable Vortex just out of range of that one. Kepri Root is going to find the Janus. Rising Dawn onto 3. They're caught a little bit in an awkward position in this team fight, but there's not much mana and health and resource to work with as Fenrir is able to come back into this fight. Unfortunately, though,
Scylla.
Scylla is going to be picked off here. Geb rolling out, looking like he wants to get all the way out. Scylla is going to go down eventually. Nice feather step. That is going to be all of Willish's mana. She is not going to be able to ult that. Her ult is down. Jing Chen has rotated back into this fight. Whew, that was a long, very extended engagement. Coming out, I think, in the end in favor of Slinging Slashes there. Delta eSports just overstaying their welcome.
Yeah, it looks like it was only a 2. It looks like it was a 2-3 this time in favor of Slinging Slashers for that one. The Whirlwind of Rage actually was expended. It forced Scylla out of the fight for a good duration of that, forced her to use her purification and then dash to the back. So once again, Brickkiller doing an amazing job zoning in these team fights. Whether his ult is actually fully connecting and throwing somebody around, or whether he's just using it and popping as many relics as he can, he's doing a great job of zoning in these fights.
Yep, gold experience sitting about 4,400 in favor of the Slashers, 8,000 XP lead. As people start to hit level 20, though, this will be normalized. But we still, Ajax sitting at level 15, almost 35 minutes into the game, as opposed to Lord of Evil, who is coming up on 20.
Yeah, the only other players not 20 is the Neat sitting at 19, probably right there at level 20, and then the supports also. So it comes down to the jungle and supports, usually always the last ones to hit level 20 anyways. Malice picked up for the Chiron there. If you don't know what Malice does, it's not a very common item, so it's one that some players might not understand. Whenever you get a crit, it takes 75% of your physical power and deals it as a dot to your opponent. So it's not a horrible item. It's got 20% crit. It's got a good amount of power on it. So if you're looking up for just even a single crit item, Malice is always a good option. Gives you a little bit of extra power with that dot. That Sikkim hitting and doing a good chunk to the Xing Chen there.
Xing Chen
actually gets chunked.
Blown up. Yeah, Cataclysm gonna find 3. I'm a monster, likely to miss here. Yeah, it is gonna miss onto that Geb, who has his Bulwark Shield protecting him. Lurking in the waters, though, looking to chunk him. A nice Sikkim, not gonna find anyone. Huge crush, though. Gonna pick up the Geb. Unstable Vortex, gonna rip through Sobek, popping his Bulwark of Hope. A Willish on the backline. Kepri, although, gonna deter Willish off of Scylla. All 5 members now looking for Lord of Evil. He has nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Suko is up. He is gonna be able to get off into the blue buff, but they are still in hot pursuit of that butt. Fenrir is going to be able to clean that one up.
Yeah, Fenrir with a nice brutalize to clean that one up. Scylla doing an amazing job in these fights, landing even just these small skill shots. Even though they missed the ultimate there, Xing Chen got Xing chunked.
Ha! I see what you did there.
I don't think I've ever seen a Xing Chen just evaporate before.
Yeah, that was nuts, man.
Like, Scylla, please, just stop. Quit killing my tank.
Well, as Delta E looking to clean up the Fire Giant here, looking like it's likely to go to them. Yes, they are able to secure that with a crush. Zobek is on zone duty. He might go down. Yes, he is going to go down from a nice crit here from Tree Fitty. But in all things told, that's probably worth it.
Yeah, trading 1 for the Fire Giant isn't too bad, especially since it's your solo lane, basically your second support. Not too bad. The blue buff is going to be taken by Hash. Not super big in this stage of the game. It's just going to be dropped down. Looks like nobody's going to pick that up. Janus is getting a little bit of extra farm as he insta clears and throws a portal against the wall for some fun reason.
Yep. Delta E just going to look to use this Fire Giant here that they are likely to pick up to just go ahead and break the base here of what can Slinging Slashers really do here to stop this aggression?
I don't know. They've been baited out by this Kepriel a lot of times. There's really not a whole lot they can do except just keep doing these fights. These extended team fights are starting to go more and more in favor of Delta here.
Yeah, we'll see. They're doing well. They're executing this team fight well. We'll see if they're able to kind of carry this into the late game. What kind of initiations are we looking for here to help them break the base?
Honestly, they just need to get a nice couple picks. They've just been trying to get these massive team fight kills instead of going for like the quick little picks that Tree Fitty has been actually been able to get off. He's been able to pick off one here, one there. So it's not too bad for them. They still have it going. It's still a very even game. Only a 4,000 still in favor. As you're speaking, Geb Cataclysm comes out, knocks up 2. Unstable Vortex comes through, does a lot of damage. But it looks like this fight is already being extended. Whirlwind of Rage actually picks up 1, but it doesn't get thrown into the tower. Sikkim Crush coming through, not doing any damage. Khepri being pulled in by the gravity surge. A lot of ults are being expended, but nothing is happening here. Space and Time comes and actually takes out Ulrich. Gets one, not really one shot, but and Kogos Cones just doing everything that they can as the Scylla, putting out massive damage. I'm a Monster, hits 2, doesn't kill any, puts Geb in critical condition. Crush is gonna come through, just misses the Willis, who's gonna get out by the skin of the Geb shield. It looks like Geb is gonna be the one to fall here. Yeah, Sobek gets it with the sickening strike. And Janus is the only one left in this little tower zone. Is he gonna be taken out? 3 members are chasing him down. Brutalize is gonna chunk him. But Wheelish and Janus both sitting on nothing. Sickening strike once again gonna polish him off. And that was a massive swing in favor of Delta eSports.
Yeah, they're doing a really great job here. Very well executed in that team fight for sure.
Yeah, Delta making massive work of this Fire Giant buff, taking out a tier 2 in the solo lane, now making their way to the tier 2 and mid, and it's shortly to fall coming in pretty quickly here. Yeah, tier 2 tower in mid lane will fall, and it looks like they're just going to go ahead and disengage here. Going towards the jungle, Go Fury's down, so it looks like they're just making their way over towards the dual lane. Everybody's just going to be backing now, spinning up a lot of that gold they have. Leading the top of the charts in player damage is Scylla and Giannis, as well as the Chiron being able to do a lot of damage in these fights. Chiron's putting out a lot of work, getting a lot of damage off. Just the ult from the Janus just came out of nowhere. I didn't even know that anybody was within the range, the threshold range of being killed by that. So great spirit gun that came out from the Janus in that last fight. Took out their Hunter very quickly on Delta, but Delta turned around and made it a 3-for-1 exchange, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, doing a really great job. Fire Giant buff remaining on 3 of the 5 members of Delta eSports. They might look to grab that last tier 2 tower before that falls off, and then they'll have to kind of pressure Fire Giant again to gain the siege ability here.
Yeah, and as you can see, we're hovering over there. The damage that Scylla can put out, over 800 base, plus I think it was 120 or 130% scaling on I'm a Monster. And when she's sitting at over 700 power, that's going to be chunking for over 2,000 HP. Before mitigation, of course, but...
Yeah, absolutely crazy damage coming out from Scylla late game. She's already got her purple pot online, likely to be headed towards that 3K pot if they're not careful. This game... It's still anyone's game at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah,
40 minutes in here, 23-22.
And look at the gold. Once again, we're at a dead even gold. Only 400-500 gold separates them, and almost everybody is full build. Scylla's probably the only one who's going for that Spear of Desolation as a final item after selling that Doom Orb once again. So looking like the Doom Orb is a great option early, but teams are starting to favor it a little bit more, like Soul Reaver or Spear of Desolation at the end of the game after selling it. So Scylla, the only one with an incomplete item. Oh, I'm sorry. The Geb is also going into a breastplate of not a breastplate of valor. Maybe a Hydenemian line or a spectral armor coming out of the Geb this time.
Spectral armor, one of those interesting new items we're not often used to seeing to be picked up. Yep. As Fire Giant has been starting by Delta eSports. Sobek is on zone duty once again. They're just going to be they're going to let this one go actually.
Another big team fight coming in. Cataclysm hits 2. No purification pops, so it's just going to take the full damage, just going to take the full duration of it. Whirlwind of Rage comes through, grabs 2. A Wheelish pulls another one back in. Sikkim Crush doing a lot of damage. I'm expecting Scylla to go into the monster here pretty soon. Where's the monster? Yes. There it is. Gonna pick off 1. Gonna pick off 2. No, the Feather Step comes over. A great play by the Wheelish. Actually stopped that team fight from going completely south for her team.
Yep, Khepri gonna kind of deter any further aggression onto this Scylla as she is able to find her way out of this fight clean. 1-for-0. Sobek does find a return kill though.
Sobek maybe
being to get out in that situation. Neith may be overstaying her welcome here. She does miss. Tree Fitty going in deep for this. She wants to find this Neith. Is going to be able to pick it up and maybe onto that Khepri. This is a disastrous play for Delta eSports. They had the clean 1-for-0 exchange. Slashers are able to bring this back for a 3-for-1. They're going to just head towards the Fire Giant at this point.
Yeah, what looked like a clean disengage just turned south as they got too aggressive and a little bit overzealous on it. The Wheelish feather stepping over the second hit of I'm a Monster completely stopped that team fight. And you saw it from Delta. They immediately started dropping out. But unfortunately, their Sobek got caught in the back. The Neath was a little too far. Unstable Vortex taking half of his health. That is... Oh, that just hurts my heart seeing that. But honestly, the Feather Step was the key to that fight. If Lord would have got hit by that, that could have immediately turned around and been a 5-man wipe. So great heads up play by Lord, Feather Stepping that ultimate, stopping that team fight in its tracks.
What are the Slashers doing right now? They're 3 people are dead. Why aren't they taking the Fire Giant?
I guess I'm not sure on that. I mean, Geb was the only one down, so it's not like they were losing out on any
farming the jungle. They're farming the jungle at 40. There's absolutely no excuse for this. You shouldn't be farming the jungle at 43 minutes with 3 down. You need to be taking that Fire Giant.
Fenrir doing those lovely not facing my opponent auto attacks. Always fun.
The no look.
I mean, you got to no scope them. How are you going to get those MLGs?
Yeah, that's right.
Geb blinking in, not going to Cataclysm. Just takes a little bit of poke for his trouble, but that's a Geb. He really doesn't care. Sobek actually pops an Elixir of Defense.
Yeah, both teams just kind of jockeying for position. All 3 people have respawned on the side of Delta Esports. The through space and time is going to come through, though, not hitting anyone. Both teams just jockeying for position here in front of this Fire Giant. Looking to maybe spur one of these team fights here that would split the game wide open. It's anyone's game at this point, as the slash line is still 24-25.
Yeah, both teams just trying to poke each other out here at the Fire Giant. Not really getting anything off of it. Chiron throwing abilities, Sikkim throwing, Crush being thrown by Scylla there. Fire Giant is being started here, but Ulrich takes a massive chunk of his health just from the Fire Giant and from one ability. I'm a Monster comes out, and so does the Ragnarok. Who's Scylla gonna hit? Hits one, but it's nowhere near enough. Bulwark of Hope comes out to save that one. Whirlwind of Rage takes him back. Trifidi picks up a kill on him with that beautiful just shot from the Chiron. Xingchen going back into the back line again, trying to disengage the front line. Gravity Surge.
Willish is gonna find a nice pull. Nice pull from a Willish is going to be bailed out by this Geb shield. Fenrir charging into the back. Does not have any cooldowns to pursue this any further. Bulwark of Hope is popped on Sobek. He's going to be hit by the Furious Roar of Xingchen. Taken down by Trifidi. Geb is going to continue to roll forward here. Heavenly has been popped. They are in hot pursuit at this point. It is a clean 2-0. They're looking for more. They're looking for blood. They want to end this game. Chiron won just barely off the mark there as Janus pours through. Huge unstable vortex damage popping through. Brick Killer going to be able to clean up that kill. Likely to hopefully go for the Fire Giant this time, as they have found yet another 3-0. Please take the Fire Giant.
Yeah, with Fenrir sitting in the base at the moment and Kepri being the only one, if Kepri can steal a Fire Giant, then I don't even know what Smite is anymore. So they really need to take...
Incon posted a video the other day. He got the Fire Giant with Athena Reach.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've seen it taken with Loki Decoy before. I've seen it taken with I remember there was one where a Kumbhakarna took it with the splash damage from his ult. It was a very interesting one.
Willish doing a great job. Slash is going to confirm this Fire Giant. Willish did a great job there. Fenrir was leaping on it, trying to maybe steal it away, but she was gravity surged away from the Fire Giant. He's going to pop a defensive Ragnarok. Oh no, Kepri here is body blocked a little bit inside of this Fire Giant. They are looking like they might be able to clean this one up. Swag Flip going to come out. A nice portal from Janus. Thresh holding his team to victory. Bulwark is popped. Is going to be enough to save him. Unstable Vortex coming through. Willish is then easily going to be able to clean this kill up, as Fenrir does find a return kill. Brutalizes, knocked out by Geb. Is he going to be able to get off the wall? No. Chiron is going to be able to clean up that kill. Big 4-man tail whip coming out. Going to deter aggression onto this tier 2 4 now, but 3 of his teammates are already dead. What more can they do? Unlucky for him, Slasher's just going to back up after that.
Yeah, Slasher's disengaging for some reason. The Sobek and the Nithro, but those two aren't enough to stop team of 5, a full team of 4 right there. All of them very tanky, aside from the Chiron. I mean, as we were mentioning earlier, the junglers are starting to go into these more tanky builds. The Bulwarks of Hope and Onkeel coming out from the Fenrir for a little bit of extra magic protection against that Janus. But both these junglers coming out very tanky. So this is definitely coming down to this 3 protect 1 strat that we were mentioning. Usually you do this on gods that don't have mobility. Like if you want to build like an AMC on the team, you build these really tanky and really utility CC heavy gods. That way you can help the AMC. But in this case, they're 3 protect on the on their 2 hyper carries, their hunters and their mages. They're doing a great job of it. Unfortunately, Hash is just breaking into the backline with that Xingchen.
Yeah. If I have one piece of advice for Slash right now, it's freaking group up. Like this is just getting this is they've had three people down, two for the past like minute and a half. Slash is just dragging their feet. They need to get these objectives taken while they have these windows of opportunity. The
Yeah,
reason these
these
games are going so long is because you're just dragging your feet to these major map objectives.
Yeah, they've been very slow to take these objectives. Where in the early game, they were taking tons. Another gravity surge comes out, knock up purification, and the Kepri ult actually not going to help because they get thrown right back into a cataclysm with a 3-man Centurion.
Yeah, Chiron gonna come into this fight, guns blazing. Ragnarok is gonna pull a Willish back into that fight. A nice purification though. Spear gun just barely off the mark. Unstable Vortex not gonna do too much to Kepri here, as now we have two people sitting under half health. Bulwarker shields both popped for the Willish. It's gonna be hard for Slashers to keep up with this aggression here, but they do have the Fire Giant. Nice hook from Sobek. Purification a little late. Geb Shield just barely able to bail out Shriek Biddy out of that. That would have spelled disaster, as that is the majority of their tower damage. They're scared right now. I don't know if this is because it's the first week of the split, but the nerves definitely appear to be showing here, as Slashers really struggling to break the base with their second Fire Giant.
Yeah, but it looks like Slashers are just backing off again. All of them, three of them very healthy, two of them sitting at half. Well, two of them were, yeah, two of them not even at half anymore. I mean, Chiron with his passive's just been healing up. Xing Shen's passive has been doing a little bit of work for him, so they're just backing off for no reason right now. As you can see, Chiron's already back to full health. Just give him a jungle camp and he'll be able to clear that no problem and heal back up. So Slashers, as you mentioned, they're just dragging their feet. They're not really doing anything. They're just kind of here. As you can see, Geb and Chiron maybe looking to pressure this tier 2 finally.
Oh, it's bugging me. That's
Yeah,
bugging me
neither of
real
these
bad.
yeah, neither of these teams really ending the match. 7,000 gold difference really doesn't make any difference right now. Maybe about 6,000 closer right now, but we're at the point of the game where gold does not matter. It's just who has a power pot versus who doesn't have a power pot. That's really all that the gold is being spent for right now, even with a little bit of wards. But with Fire
Yeah, I
Giant still
understand you
down.
want to feel out. You want to feel your opponent out. It's the first time you played him, but at the same time, just like your fundamental Smite, just kind of you need to be taking these objectives right now. There's no by dragging your feet, you're allowing them a chance to come back into this game. The Slashers have this game in the bag if they would only just commit to an objective.
Yeah, and you don't want to allow Scylla a chance to come back because, as we mentioned
Exactly.
earlier, stopping her I'm a monster completely or team fight. It looks like they're grouping up. It looks like they want to do a spirit gun through the wall, but the wards there are showing that three of them are staring them down. They know that this is coming, so I don't think
This
that
is
they're
like
going
an
to make their way in.
old-fashioned like Mexican standoff right now.
Yes. Yeah, normally it's at the Fire Giant, but in this case it's right around the tier 2 tower zone. They're just like, "Hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to come in at us?" No? All right, we're just going to leave then.
Yeah, both teams just still continuing to feel each other out. Fire Giant buff has fallen off. Two backs coming out here from three backs now coming out from the side of Delta Esports, looking to probably pick up some wards, try and gain any sort of war control here in the Fire Giant pit before it respawns here, as it looks like it is just coming back up shortly.
Now, I've asked a lot of people their opinions on this active, but what is your thoughts on the Frenzy active? A lot of people are against it. Some people are for it.
I mean, I'll take it over Scout any day of the week.
I mean, that's a good point. At this point, a Frenzy would be way better than Scout. That's 20% increased magical and physical power. Plus, I think it gives you... it might give you increased structure damage now with the change to this one. But still, 20% increased power, especially on a Scylla or a Janus. That's going to deter it from being, I almost killed them, to I destroyed them. Because right now, at this point, the scouts are not doing anything for them. They're just sitting there for a free sentry that they're probably going to de-ward in half a second anyways. Both these
both teams
still...
just kind of jockeying for position here. Slashers maybe needing to go home and buy wards shortly, as Delta E has just come in and dropped a fresh batch on him.
Yeah, 2 sentry wards apiece still, so whoever gets that first ward dropped is going to have the advantage of it. Just a little bit of fights over mid camps, which really make no difference at this point in the game. That's an extra like 15 gold that's just not doing you anything. It's just wasting your abilities, wasting your time on them at this point. As As far as any kind of items come out, we have 2 Mantle of Discords on the side of Slinging Slashers, and none on the other side. And the ones that they're on are 2 of the big frontliners, a Wheelish and Geb. Surprising to see that Xing Chen hasn't picked it up.
Get blinking in. Huge 5-man Cataclysm. Going to hit everyone on that team. Whirlwind of Rage is still going to pick up 3, clumping them all up perfectly. A big unstable Vortex coming out here. This could be the end of the game if this fight goes hard in one way or the other. Khepri is going to grab Coco's Cones. Going to absolutely destroy a Willish, getting that hard reset from Spirit Desolation. Let's see what she can do with that fresh round of cooldowns. A nice tail whip is going to deter the rollout from Geb. Chiron continuing this aggression onto them. Khepri root gonna miss. Geb's rolling out. He's looking for the slow onto someone. No, he's gonna cancel that roll. Likely to go back to the Fire Giant after they have taken a loss here. They don't want to get overextend too much.
That was a hot play, if I've ever seen one.
Oh my goodness, my heart.
The 5-man Cataclysm into the 3-man Whirlwind of Rage after the first round of purifications from the Scylla. Those are not plays that you see very often, especially a 5-man. Sobek's here to try and deter this Fire Giant. Are they just going to give it up? Oh, Janus taking a lot of damage. He ends up being the one to tank that Fire Giant. Are they just going to give it up? It's still going to go.
It's going to be enough.
Sobek just out of range for the hit of it. Looks like they reset
Slashes. He gets it with the one. Chiron able to secure that for his team. The Sobek, unfortunately, was not able to get that. Through space and time is going to come through. Delta E looking really good, though, as far as cleaning up. Brick Killer, he is going to go down. That is, they only have the Fire Giant buff on 3 of them. This is so back and forth. This is still anyone's game. 55 minutes in. The slash line reads 27-30. Oh my goodness.
And
where
look
does
at
it
the
end?
respawn timer on Brick Killer. 70 seconds.
Oh,
this is a massive amount of time that he is down. Silas Crush doing almost half of Geb's health of all gods. Like,
good God, yeah. Cataclysm going to be used trying to deter this aggression on this Phoenix, but it's still likely to fall. Delta E breaking the base of Slashes. They're bringing it back. Absolutely evaporated his Tree Fitty. A nice return kill, though, from Arc 9 onto the Sobek. Is that going to spell the end of this team fight? 75 seconds to respawn for that Chiron. 75 for Sobek. Oh, man, all of these kills are just... they're just shaking everyone in their boots because they carry so much weight. These respawn timers are just colossal.
Yeah, these are some extremely long respawn timers. Still another 60 seconds on the Sobek, 24, 56 over on the Chiron. Like, these teams really need to start doing stuff with these respawn timers. Obviously, some of them were just too low to make their way into going for another Phoenix. But honestly, they really just need to start doing a little bit more. Like you said, both teams are really just dragging their feet around right now, and they're not doing anything off these. Sure, a Phoenix got taken on that last one.
Yeah, both teams here, just these absolutely massive respawn times. Every pick counts. Every kill matters. It's still anyone's game at this point. Both teams fully respawn. 4v4 here. Fire Giant still only on 2 members of the Slashes. Really not much they can do here. If they weren't feeling confident enough to break the base before, they're definitely not feeling it now.
Yeah, look at the power on Scylla. 979 with that pot and the red buff picked up. If she hits somebody, they're dead. If they're not the tank, like if she hits Janus or if she hits Chiron, they're just dead. She doesn't need a Soul Reaver, even though she's got one, so they're definitely dead. But she doesn't need the damage from the Soul Reaver. Her Crush alone can almost one-shot the 2 of them, let alone an I'm a Monster that's going to come through and chunk for 2,300.
Yeah. Look at Awilish's build in response to this, though. She's like, it's interesting to see these really hyper late game build transitions because players have so much gold in hand, they can afford any luxury item that they want.
Yeah, if one item's not working for them, they can just turn around, sell it, and buy an entirely new item at this point, which is what I've been seeing a lot of. Scylla sold off one item, picked up, I don't even remember what she had in her 6 slot. She got a Soul Reaver online. She sold her Doom Orb earlier and bought a Desolation. Geb actually managed to, two of them actually have a Nemean line on them, which is a little bit interesting. Seeing the Spectral Armor I would have liked to have seen, giving that extra protections for them. It's a lot of protections and a decent amount of HP for them. But yeah, when it comes to the game being this late, 57 minutes in, you have so much gold to spend. You're just sitting here begging for something to cost you gold.
Yep, 3K pots coming out. It looks like on Chiron and on Janice, at least at this point in the game. Both teams are just still so scared to make any mistake. The game has really almost grinded to a halt. We're seeing Fire Giant being taken, followed up by only 1 or 2 objectives. Oddly enough, in that last fight, that last Fire Giant, the Slashers did lose that fight 0 to 1 kill, but they ended up getting the Fire Giant as so many people on Delta E were so low that they had to get out. They had no way to contest it.
Yeah, not only did they go 0-1 for the Fire Giant engagement, they also lost 2 more at the end of it. So they only had 2 members of the Fire Giant. I believe it was Janice and Geb were the only ones still with that Fire Giant buff on them. And that's going to look to probably be, once again, the next point of contention. I don't see really any Phoenixes or towers being taken down during that during the time until that is down.
Yep, so the buff has just fallen off, meaning the Fire Giant is going to respawn here shortly in under a minute. Kepri and Neath have both back to get some more wards, kind of to win that vision battle. Fenrir likely to do the same here. But as it stands right now, Slashers are winning this ward battle contention. They've got wards covering all coordinates of this map right now. Fire Giant likely to be up in about 15 seconds. The left Phoenix is just coming up, so they do not have to worry about the pressure from the Firemans anymore. This is looking good for Slashers.
Yeah, definitely. Slashers are making it known to keep this Scylla out of the fight, because if Scylla is going to keep landing these I'm a Monsters, whether they're set up for her or as raw as she's been hitting them. I mean, Kokosgones is showing an immense amount of skill with this Scylla, being able to hit ultimates on his own or being able to hit them when set up. But he's getting resets. He's doing 90% of players' HP just by hitting these ultimates alone.
Yeah, both teams just kind of doing that delicate dance right now, looking for an opening, anything. We see a Willish and Chiron actually flanking around the back, looking to clean up a ward here. Sobek is none the wiser to this. He is cleaning up a ward of his own just behind the Fire Giant. Willish very deep right now, completely separated from her team. Takes the Sikkim Crust to the dome, has the beads out of that one. Fenrir looking to clean this kill up. Geb Shield is coming out just a little bit too early, not going to be able to cleanse. Looking for the Cataclysm, gets 3 there. Spirit Gun's going to come ripping through, not finding any kills. Willish going to be safe for now. Sobek finding himself under half health. Neath charging her all on the backside of this fight, but is blocked off by Bulka. Huge crush coming to him, about 60% of Janice's health alone. A nice 4-1 Raisin Steel, grabs 2, tosses him into his team. I'm a Monster coming through. Geb Shield just barely enough to keep a Willish alive through all of that. Still, the first kill, first blood has been drawn in this fight. Fenrir finding a Willish off on the other side of that fight. But Sobek is so low, he is effectively forced out of this fight. He's going to head back to base. 80 seconds until a Willish is back up. Delta E have to do something with this opening.
Yeah, they really need to pull something with this. With one of their hard CCs and frontliners taken down, they really need to start making their way into trying to take down this Janice, who just portals away from the Sobek like it was nothing. But yeah, in that last team fight, Scylla's Crush actually chunked a Wheelish for about 60%, while Janice actually had to pop his Sanctuary in order to avoid basically almost being one-shot.
Yeah, that would have spelled bad news. Scylla has, Willis, excuse me, has 3 magic defense items, and she still was not able to really absorb the kind of damage she needed to survive that burst.
But I mean, look at how much pen Scylla has built. They have an Obsidian Shard, they have a Spear of Desolation, and they have Pen Boots. So they're getting 30, 35 flat almost just from the Boots and Desolation alone, plus the extra 33% on Obsidian Shard. And with as much defense as the Willish has, that's taking out a massive amount of her magical defenses.
Yeah, Whirlwind Raging Steer is going to find 2. Fenrir would be a nice pick here. Geg Cataclysm going to deter that Brutalize any further. Does find the Kepri as well on the back side of that, but Ragnarok is going to be deterred by a nice Geb Shield. Geb getting very low, has to be careful. The Crush not quite going to connect. Scylla getting chunked out of her own right as Tree Fitty finds a nice kill onto Sobek in the back. Brutalize coming through here. He is going to be able to pick up that Janice. Neath was charging her ult just in case he got away. Great presence of mind there holding that one. It is going to be a 1-for-1. The respawn timers have eked up almost to 1.5 minutes.
And with all these massive respawn timers, once again, just nobody's doing anything with it. Still, oh my god, still doing half of Xing Shen's health with just 1 combo.
Yeah, they start up the Fire Giant, taking a little bit of poke. Willish is going to dive really deep. I'm a Monster is popped in response. Is this going to connect? Yes, but really surprisingly not doing too much damage. Geb knockup is going to be enough to find Scylla in the backline. Centaurus getting popped finding not enough damage to confine another kill. So now they're down 2 kills to 1, excuse me. As Gen, they're looking maybe to end this game here. They're continuing the aggression. Forget the Fire Giant. It doesn't even matter at this stage of the game. As a nice Cataclysm, we'll keep Khepri in place for now. Gravity Surge is going to pull Fenrir back into that, but he is so tanky. Bulwark of Hope going to keep him alive for now. Fenrir is going to Ragnarok a Willish, who is given the Geb shield to bail her out of the Phoenix. Let's see if they're going to be able to break the base here. Khepri not really known for his solo defense.
No, they really need to take something here. With this many players down, Khepri being forced out, Fenrir not having an ultimate, Neats now being expended onto a Geb. She might actually be able to get this pickup onto the Geb.
Fenrir actually picked off before he's able to get that Xingqian. Xingqian just barely escaping with his life, as is Geb. Tree Fitty rooted out here. Hopefully he doesn't get crit. No, the Geb shield is going to save his life. One thing to note there, the minions were not in position, so the backdoor protections were still on that Phoenix. They were not able to take it down.
Yeah, only getting it to about half. The other Phoenix spawned quite a while ago, right before the big Fire Giant fight that they had. So both of those lanes back to just spawning the regular minions as opposed to those very strong fire minions that can just do wonders to your Titan if you're not paying attention.
I think this is the longest Smite game I've ever seen almost here.
For sure, this is definitely one of the longest I've seen. I think the longest I took part in was a 61-minute game, and that was not a fun one. But yeah, so far this is looking to be the longest that I've witnessed.
Both teams eking out just enough in these fights to where the other team just doesn't have enough left in the tank to close the game out here.
Yeah, and that's the thing is because these teams are just going so even with each other, they're trading out 1 for 1, 2 for 2, and if they're not getting kills, they're putting them in critical.
Gonna hit 3. Spirit Gun's gonna come out. Just hitting Sobek though. Not too much damage. He might be able to escape this one, but he's getting shredded down very quickly. Gonna use Charge Prey defensively to get out of this one. Khepri Root is gonna keep Geb out of this fight for now. Sikkim gonna do major damage to Xingqian, doing a lot with the Soul Reaver on top of it all. Geb, Sobek trying to heal up. Centaurus is gonna come through. 1, 2. Khepri ult just in case for good measure to keep him alive. Fenrir is coming back up. That is worth noting as all 5 members crush though. Gonna pick off Tree Fitty. Keeping this base is even less likely to fall. Ragnarok coming out onto the Geb. He is taken way back into the Phoenix. I'm a Monster is going to be popped in response. Let's see if she can pick up. No, Geb is going to escape.
Just barely.
Help, but the Phoenix will clean him up. Kill credited over to the Scylla. Let's see if they can chase this aggression. Lurking in the waters is still up. Maybe that's something he wants to pop here to let his team get back in this fight.
80.
A nice blink coming out of Fenrir though. He's going to jink in hot pursuit. Charge Prey has come up. He is going to find Brick. Brick likely to go down here. Sikkim Crunch going to pop his Bulwark, but Swag flipping out of there. Is Fenrir going to be able to brutalize? Remaining in pursuit. Going to turn around, knock him up. Nice slow. Xingqian just so hard to bring down.
Xingqian, one of the hardest gods to kill in this game, even just solo. That Mantle of Discord also saved him there, being able to stun out. Janus wanted to try and back there, but there's just too much aggression. Looks like they're going to try and push down this Phoenix. It's already at it's already been taken down once, so they can just walk in, take it pretty much for free at this point.
Somebody kill somebody. This is killing me. Spirit Gun is going to rip through, hitting 2. Not doing too much, though. Whirlwind of Rage of Steel is going to pick up 3 into the shout. Going to be doing nice follow-up damage. A nice portal is going to find Sobek. Feather stepping over is Owilish, looking for the final kill. Her Bulwark is popped. Khepri having to ult himself defensively. Still very caught out, separated from his team. The Crush likely to be enough. No, a nice Feather Step is going to keep Owilish alive. Fenrir popping his ult in the back, trying to get Owilish away from him. Scylla likely to fall down here. Neath ult is going to be body blocked by Xingqian. Nice job on the Brick Killer. Owilish is going to escape from this one with her life. Geb up in 13 seconds. Tree Fitty is coming up now, whereas we have 84 seconds and 66 seconds on the Sobek.
These are some of the craziest ultimates I've seen in the game. 3-man Whirlwind into a portal, 5-man Cataclysm earlier into the 3-man Whirlwind. This team is going insane with these giant teamfight ultimates, grabbing more members than I ever thought you could pull with these at this stage of the game.
Yep, Brick Killer doing a nice job overall with these Whirlwind, the Rage and Steel. Oftentimes finding at least 2 people. More often than not, he's getting 3 people, throwing it into perfect follow-up. Brick Killer really doing a great job of keeping his team in this one in the hyper late game.
Lord doing a great job tanking up the Fire Giant as opposed to what some of the ones we've seen earlier of teams getting knocked up 20 times by it. So Lord doing a great job of tanking up that Fire Giant. Spirit Gun comes through, try and do a little bit of damage to the Fire Giant, create a little quick path for Janus to come into there. Fenrir comes in, once again is pulled by the Gravity Surge.
Yep. Slashers able to secure this one away. We've seen this play before. Willish able to use her gravity surge to deter Fenrir from having any chance of stealing that. He's forced to use Ragnarok defensively yet again. Sobek is coming up in 3 seconds. Slashers needs to press this aggression now before any reinforcements arrive. Neath going to be taken out by the Janus. This could be it.
Yeah, but with that
all 5 members of the Slashers coming in hot on that middle Phoenix, looking to break the base. Let's see if they choose to go straight for the Titan. No, they are going to elect to go over to that right lane and looking to finally
I think
maybe close this one out.
This is a very smart choice. There's already fire minions coming into their Titan on that side, so they need to take that Phoenix to even it out. And there should be one more wave of minions spawning in here really quickly to try and be able to stop the wave of fire minions that's just about to hit. Yeah, fire minions just stopped there, so no more aggression in that right lane from the fire minions.
Nice knock-up. Fenrir does come through, finds a nice stun. Jing Shen getting pretty low. Geb shield's going to be nice. Geb, unfortunately, going to have to use a Cataclysm to deter that Brutalism any further. A nice portal. Fenrir's going to fall through. Bulwark of Hope is popped. They're just trying to keep him off this Phoenix. They are doing a decent job, but on the right side, the Fire Minions have pushed into Slash's base. The Titan sitting at about 60% health. Fenrir finds a good Ragnarok, but Trifidi is able to find the return kill onto the Sobek.
This is what
Crush
they need
doing
to
decent
do.
damage. I'm a Monster as Pop finds one. I'm a Monster misses the second on the reset. Is not able to. Geb Shield saving so many lives this game. Gonna bail a Willish out yet again. Fenrir's gonna leap through. His Bulwark Shield is still alive. They have taken all 3 Phoenix, though. The base is blown wide open. 2 respawns still remaining for Delta Esports.
Yeah, well, they may not have ended the game. They've definitely opened it a lot more for them. This is what we needed to see 20 minutes ago when they were getting the Fire Giants taking these Phoenixes down. 68 minutes into the game. Respawn timers are insane. There's still 65 seconds before Arc comes up, but he's got that ult. He can make his way halfway across the map if needed. Scylla just doing a little bit of pushing. Fire Minions are going to start pouring into all of these lanes.
Yeah, it's really this is going to be a good point in the game. Now they have all 3 Phoenixes down. It's going to force Delta Esports, they have to babysit their Titan now. You know, whatever Fire Giant means at 70 minutes into the game, they're going to be able to take it for free if it comes to that again.
Coco getting a bit aggressive up here with the Fenrir, trying to do a little bit of hard pushing up closer to the Fire Minions home. But Xing Shen's here and doing half of Scylla's health. He doesn't even have that much damage. Scylla's down. That's their big hyper carry. That's a 98-second respawn timer onto the Scylla.
I've never seen it. Are we gonna see the 100-second respawn, the fabled 100-second respawn?
100-second. Maybe if they can get this Kepler here, we'll take a look.
It was 100. Oh, streaming saw it. I have never seen that before. That's nuts.
Never, in my entire Smite career, have seen a 100-second respawn timer.
Oh man, this is looking like a nice Cataclysm. Is going to catch out Neath. A nice knock-up. Centaurus not connecting though, unfortunately. Fenrir looking to Ragnarok Brick into the well. He has Geb Shield, so he is going to be able to deter that for now. Whirlwind of Rage's Seal, another great one, pulling 2 out of the well. Fenrir able to leap back in. Spear Gun's going to come through. Not enough, though. Is this going to be the end of the game? Titan sitting, 60% health. Fenrir and Sobek looking to make the defense here. 2v4.
1K.
Not much they can do. GG. Woo.
60 minutes, 11 seconds, 33 to 42. Slinging Slashers finally take down Delta Esports with a 2-0 victory.
Round of applause.
I have never seen 2 teams this close before, to where a game goes on for this long.
That was absolutely absurd. You know, good on these kids. I'm assuming they don't have nobody has this much experience in the hyper late game. That was absolutely insane length of a game. And for no team really made any dumb mistakes. They kept it together, they kept their composure, and they gave it their all. That's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive display of abilities, of skill by both of the teams. They were dead even between the 2 of them throughout the entire game. Gold leads never really spiking for above 5-6K. This is the closest gold-wise I have ever seen in a match. Professional, amateur, whatever it be. No team dropping over 5K during the main part of the match when it actually matters. We do have one more giveaway that we're going to be going for you guys. Another 800 gems coming your way. The giveaway code this time is AVGL. Remember, you must be following the channel in order to receive that. So go ahead and type in AVGL in the chat to get your chance at winning 800 gems. And very shortly here, along with the giveaway, we'll be doing Player of the Week. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about that game. That was insane.
I mean, we could write a full length Odyssey epic Greek poem about that game.
This is going to be the 2016 Odyssey. Was this game right here? 5-man Cataclysm into
Oh
3-man
man.
Whirlwind Rage. That alone was my favorite play of this entire game. Was the double AOE ults fitting perfectly with each other, forcing purification. Otherwise, it would have been a 4-man. Like the display of ults just between the two Guardians alone, how many players they were able to pull in and combo off of was mind-boggling.
Yeah, absolutely insane stuff. Great team synergy coming out from the slashers, but really Scylla able in that hyper late game, just able to just drag it out, just beating the dead horse, getting 1 kill here, 2 kill here. These are carrying so much weight because these respawn times, as we saw, were 100 seconds at the end of the game.
Fabled 100-second respawn timer. I wish I could just highlight that for us. I have never in my Smite career seen anything above 90 seconds. This game, we saw 100 seconds.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Only in the College Smite League. That's the only place you can get that. SPL ain't got that kind of action.
SPL don't even have like 50-second Smite leagues. Like, please.
Yeah, so you want to go ahead and take us into the who's going to be your MVP, you think, this week, J-Mac?
When it comes down to it, of all the sets that I witnessed and of all the sets that we were able not only to record but just to spectate in general, we were only able to put a couple sets up here. I've got to give it to Brick Killer. Brick Killer did an amazing job, not only as the Vamana but as the Xingqian, getting 2 and 3-man ults with the Xingqian, but being the front line that your solo is supposed to be. Not only are you supposed to have that extremely tanky Guardian, your support, to be up there, but the solo laner is supposed to be a second support. That's why you don't see mages and assassins built in the solo lane. They're meant to be for the warriors. They're meant to be for the guardians, the ones who are going to go up there, pop all of your relics, your purifications, your sanctuaries, everything like that, so that way your team can reinitiate and come in there. And that's exactly what Brick was able to do. He was able to zone teams out of Fire Giant, zone them out of Gold Fury, just zone them away from the rest of their team. There was a situation in the first game where Brick Killer on Vamana had 3 people zoned away so that Tree Fitty can walk over to Uller and actually solo kill him.
Yeah, Brick Killer doing actually like a really great job of like displaying his range. In the Vamana game, he carried. You know, he was able to just kind of stomp them fools out. Whereas in the second game here, he was more on the utility side of thing. Whereas he was able to get those 2-3-man whirlwinds every single team fight. It felt like on that Xingqian.
Yeah.
Yeah, both teams just doing a really great job. Congratulations to all the competitors in this. This is just week 1. We got so much more to come.
Yeah, and congratulations to Brick Killer for getting the player of the week. Between the 2 games, I think he had I think it was a 6.5 KDA. And remember, high res's KDA is a little bit different than normal. It's kills, half of assist divided by death. But a 6.5, he led his team in KDA and just overall was, in the game 1, definitely the carry that we used to see in Vamana back in Season 0 and Season 1. Definitely showing that Vamana is a force to be reckoned with in Season 3. And an amazing display with Xingqian almost basically soloing that Scylla at the late game, which is actually what turned that for them to be able to rush down the Khepri and finish the game, was taking out that Scylla. So, any final thoughts for these teams? Anything that you might want to say to these players to maybe help them going into week 2 as they have a fresh round of opponents and won't be playing anybody that they already have?
To these players, you know, this was a great job. Obviously, have confidence in yourself. Y'all are great players. Like, it is, anyone that plays ranked at a decently high level knows how just like mentally exhausting it is to be on your toes, to be paying attention for all of that time. And these guys just did it for 70 minutes. You know, I'm exhausted just having cast this. I can't imagine how exhausted they are after having played a game like this.
Yeah, after 2 sets like that, then I would be exhausted. I'd be taking a nap right after that one. Great job by Hashling Slashers. They did a phenomenal job. I can't wait to see their upcoming games. And Delta, I can't wait to see how these 2 teams branch out. And then hopefully we'll also be seeing some of the teams that we didn't feature here on the stream. We still have 4 other teams that didn't even really 2 of them got to play. We had a little mishap with one, so one of them kind of got DQ, and one didn't actually get a shot to play this week. So I'm really interested to see what the 2 teams that I didn't get to see anything from, that being Elonomics and West Coast Best Coast. I'm really interested to see what these 2 teams are going to do this week against their matchup opponents. And one thing we forgot to mention was that there is 800 gems given to the player of the week, Brick Killer. So you will be getting those 800 gems at the end of the season. That's one thing that was not mentioned, but it was added into the rules. All gems that these teams receive will be given at the end of the season once the final championship has been complete. So your team will receive its 1,000 gems, and you'll receive your 800 at the end of the season. Our giveaway winner was M_Zomber. You will also be receiving a nice and lovely 800 gems for winning our giveaway. That was M Zomber. Make sure to say something in the chat so that we know you are still here. And to kind of go over really quick on how the AVGL League works with its wins. As I mentioned, because they won the best of 3, their team gets 1,000 gems for this victory that is distributed amongst the players. They get that anytime that they win during the week. So if you win 8 weeks in a row, that's 8,000 gems that you're getting for your team. So that's going to be a little less than 2,000 gems per player on that one. Player of the week every week will get 800 gems. That'll go directly to them. And we will be doing a round robin style every single week. So for these 8 weeks, it's going to be all the teams just playing against each other. So we might see we'll see some repeat games when it comes to week 7. Maybe a rival match. Who knows? I'd love to see a rival match between these two. See how much they improve by the end of the season. And after the end of the round robin, all those teams will go into a double elimination final championship where there will be about 26,000 gems on the line and $1,000 in product that will be distributed amongst the top 4 teams. So this is going to be a crazy season. If you're just tuning in, make sure to come back every week. We're going to be streaming, I believe it's on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys aren't doing anything next Tuesday, come back and watch some more awesome Smite. We're going to have another round of sets for you guys then. And to Mr. High Res Free Hair, it's been a pleasure and an honor to have gotten to cast next to you. It was a lot of fun here. We got to watch some great Smite together, have some fun casting.
Yes, sir. We got to watch hella Smite tonight. That was insane. It was a big honor. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope to see you guys back soon.
Yeah, we look forward to working with you again in the upcoming weeks. Maybe even the partner that you mentioned earlier, maybe we'll get to see some work with him as well. So thanks for coming out with us tonight. And thank you to all of you who are out here watching the stream, watching some awesome Smite. Remember, come back next week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock EST, where we have another couple set of Smite matches and some more stuff to give away to you guys. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching. We love you and hope you continue to support the AVGL stream.